Okay, this is 252 Pop Fiction, where you'll find all the news and reviews in pop culture that's right to type. Today's top story.
53-year-old boxer Mike Tyson revealed that he has been training and getting in shape while staying at home. Iron Mike has suggested a Holyfield rematch to raise money for charity. Holyfield has agreed with a few stipulations. Exhibition only, no knockouts, no more than three three-minute rounds. Kind of like WWE style boxing, because those guys don't really want to get their shit knocked out.
Well, I would have to say that one, my boxing nerdgasm, like I can even say when I first saw those first Tyson videos, those working at home, because Tyson was all heavy because I follow him, so I've seen
Right.
him because he does hot boxing and stuff like that. He had his chub on, but it was like he was like lovable Mike. And then he started working out. This video came out, and he was like, and I was like, "Oh, that's scary." But at the end of the day, Tyson's 53. I think the real deal is like 58. And as much as I would love to see these guys go in there, I mean, after honestly about 60, 70 seconds, you're just gonna see two old men. You see this like when you watch the old men fights on YouTube. They're not funny, but it's like somebody's gonna bust a hip. Like you don't want you want to see it, but you don't want to see it.
Yeah, they against each other in exhibition style. It should be interesting. People will watch, but if they were actually going all out, somebody would wind up not well at the end, or both of them.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need the two alpha males showing they still got it.
No, I
Look, you
suppose.
guys look
How old was
impressive.
Foreman when he did his little comeback?
He was like in his 40s.
Was he?
And
No,
that
he
was,
had to been older than that. But he was. Maybe it wasn't 53 though.
Yeah, no, because I thought he was in his 40s. Because trying to do the math of how young I was looking at George Foreman, because
Could be. Maybe
Foreman,
he just seemed old because I was not.
Yeah, I'm saying, but he was like in his 40s, looking sad. But speaking of sad, depending on who you are, Ruby Rose exits the title role of Batwoman after one season. Information on the unexpected departure is hazy at best, but a search to recast is underway. Now,
Ruby Rose sounds like something Scooby Doo would say. I melted with my Ruby Rose.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually a big deal when she was cast because she was the first like openly gay mainstream character who was actually an openly gay actress to play an openly gay character. She did a good job. I was in and out. I'll be honest, in and out of Batwoman. Like I wasn't religious every week, but a couple of them stack up. I'll watch them. If I DVR'd it, I DVR'd it. If I missed one, I was like, I'll catch it later.
I think I
Because
have
I am
like
still a big
18
fan.
of them backed up. I watched most of the first one and said, "Oh, I'll keep watching this," and then I still haven't watched any of the rest yet. One of these days, or maybe not. I guess depending if they cancel it, it might just be a one-season deal.
I don't see, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think right now the CW is planning on canceling Batwoman. I think they're just going to recast. Now, in my opinion, Ruby Rose kind of took the character as her own, and that's who you see. And they actually said that in this, DC on CW Arrowverse, there has been plenty of main characters that got recast, like Sarah Lance from season 1 of The Arrow. There was a different actress that played her, and then when they brought her back in season 2, it was Katie Lutz, who is still playing the character on DC's Legends of Tomorrow. And they had other characters too as well. Now, with that being said, all of these characters were in quote unquote minor roles. They weren't the lead, So this is going to be the first time that they're going to do the, what was it? The two Darrens switch on us. Which Darren do you like?
True. I guess if we're actually asking, I think I would prefer the first Darren, but a little bit. But the second Darren was probably the first one that I watched. So At one
you
point,
know,
as a
gun to my
child, I'm
head.
not sure I knew that there was even a switch because those two guys
Yeah,
were pretty similar.
I was just about to say, gun to my head right now. I couldn't tell you which one was Darren Sargent and which one was Darren York. I just know one guy's face was a little more rubbery than the other one, and I think one guy's ears. I think I like the guy with the bigger ears, and I don't know if that was York or Sargent, but to me, he looked funny.
There you go. As long as there was only one Samantha, we were cool. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, in 2021, HBO Max is launching, and they're finally bringing that which has been overhyped and sought after by fanboys around the globe, the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie. Is it not? They're not launching till 2021, or they're not airing the Snyder cut till
They're
2021?
not airing the Snyder cut until 2021. I believe HBO Max is launching in November of 2020. It could be postponed or pushed back because of coronavirus, but
Oh, wow.
the way I tried to write it as,
Sure.
look,
No, with all the
this
push that they've been doing lately, I thought it was about to launch in like June. So their message is mixed at best.
yes, because I know that they're saying all the stuff like, if I'm not mistaken, they're like one of the things they're hanging in on their hat is, you know, I think they're gonna have like the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and they're gonna have this and this. But the funny thing about HBO Max is, um, like I already thought HBO already had their own like streaming service for
So
some
they
reason.
did, but
It was like HBO
it was
Go
like the
or
digital HBO, you know,
yeah,
for not having a cable box. But what the HBO Max should have been called, if people were trying to be honest with it, is like WB something or Warner Brothers something. But HBO is somehow a stronger brand than WB now, perhaps because of the WB network. You know? No, we don't want people thinking about that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the list of stuff is, you know, there's everything Warner Brothers owns pretty much. So the DC stuff will probably jump over there. Obviously with the Justice League movie, they got
Right.
the Looney Tunes stuff. They got all those Warner Brothers movies, everything from whatever Criterion Collection. But I
And
have
that's
most
what
of the
we
stuff
had.
I want already.
I know, and we had talked about that before because they launched the DC universe, and you know we got that, and then you know we were talking about it and stuff like that, and to be honest, I kind of fell off of Titans. I just because of quarantine, I just recommitted myself to Titans. You know, watched all of season one. Now I'm working on season two, and I'm like, hey, Titans, pretty good. You know, but now I'm just again but like what you were saying, when HBO Max does go live, is it going to take all of this stuff that the other service already has, and maybe DC Online, or not DC Online, excuse me, but DC Universe is probably just going to default to just, hey, if you want to download comic books, you still do this, and we'll,
They might even roll that in. I mean, just make it all one service. You know,
yeah, which would
with a
be
different
nice,
tab to get to the other thing. Why not?
you know.
And then if they do that, then Disney Plus needs to add all the Marvel comics and just go head to head that way.
Yeah, but as of right now, what was the thing that we said before? If there was just one place I can go to get all my streaming services in one central location instead of paying a la carte style. So, this week's review, they gotta have us. The rise of black actors as they have gone from being the backdrops to calling the shots. This is an inside story of turning points of black life on both sides of the lens from Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte to the present. This is a docu-series. I want to say it was 3, maybe 4 episodes. They give a real good chunk to some of my favorite actors and directors. Even if they're not profiled on there, they still talk about them. And it was very interesting watching this docu-series. Some of this stuff I already knew. A lot of it I did not know. Like, spoiler alert, but in the 50s and 60s, there was an actual law that, like, if you were a black man and a white woman on screen, you couldn't kiss or anything to show romance.
Oh
It was
yeah.
actually against the law to do it. So Harry Belafonte had to use other things to make scenes look as sensual as possible so you could know that this was a romance going on. But you had to do it without being able to kiss or anything. And it was crazy. Like, that was a real thing. And then when he was talking about some of my, favorite, actors, when you're and directors, when you're talking about like Spike Lee and how Spike Lee did this, and how John Singleton was like, right after I saw this movie, I went out and I wrote Boys in the Hood, and then you have the guys in there, and they were talking about, hey, I was in this big movie and then I had nothing for years, and it was just like, what? And it was like, because in the words of Robert Townsend, he was like, man, I love doing that movie. I want to do more movies like that. And his agent had tell him, oh no, you had your one black movie. Everyone gets the one black movie that they can do. And he was like, that's why he did Hollywood Shuffle, another one of our, favorites, so it was great to see that. So I highly recommend. They got to have us, even just to be the fly on the wall and just to get just a little bit of insight on what some of, probably some of your favorite, actors and actresses and directors, what they really had to go through so we can have shows the way we have now that honestly, in your head, you can kind of take it for granted. You got guys like Will Smith and others that can literally just do whatever. When Will Smith played Jim West, that was a much bigger deal in the mid 90s than even I realized. I was just like, okay, he's playing, and it's like, no, Jim West was a white guy on a TV show played by, God, I just had the guy's name in my head. Was it Robert Wagner? No, it wasn't Robert Wagner.
Robert Conrad.
Robert Conrad, thank you. And that was a big thing. And then now, of course, Wild Wild West wasn't that great of a movie, but
we need a giant spider.
Yeah,
take the giant spider from the Superman movie and put it in this movie.
Because we still had it on the back lot, but it was like this. It was upon multiple viewings of Wild West, I appreciate it more now than when it came out in, like, what was it, 98 or 97, like whatever year it came out. But anyway, that's my review.
Fans of Hollywood Shuffle, you should check out The Last OG if you haven't already. I see several episodes, directed by Robert Townsend, written by Keenan Ivory Wayans,
yes.
and delivered by Tracy Morgan. So
it's I love it. It's one of those full circle things. And he even tells, Robert Townsend was even talking about the craziest meeting that he ever had is because he directed Raw. And he did his cut, showed it to Eddie. Eddie was like, this is exactly what I wanted. I love it. They showed it then to the execs, and the execs was like, whoa. We can't put this. There's going to be a XXX rating if we do this. So they had to sit there and actually have a negotiation on how many F words he can say and how many this and this. And it's like, all right, if you give us this, then you got to eat. And Eddie was like, no, I need that motherfucker right here where it is,
You mess up the flow, man.
Yeah, and it was crazy and surreal that they even had to go through that. But anyway, I don't want to ruin it. Watch it again. I think it's like 3 episodes, man. You eat it right up.
Indeed. Where did you find that at?
That's on Netflix. It's streaming on Netflix.
I'll have to check that out. So that's another excellent recommendation. But The Last OG is not my recommendation today because Frank G recommends Keeping Up with the F***ing News. Now, I can understand how some people don't appreciate their perceived bias in the assorted cable channels, but, come on, turn on your local news once in a while. I know the concept of newspapers is kind of a lost art, but maybe read one online instead of yet another gossip article or the mostly nonsense postings of your elderly relatives from other states. It's not all lies, especially on a local basis. You should be able to spot the fake stuff. Should. If you're not even aware of what's going on in your own town, you're probably uninformed in a way that may be hazardous to your health and ours. So let's not talk about how we came to be in this place as a society. Let's just start paying some attention, right? Watch stuff. A little bit. Come on.
A little bit. And again, it's not...
You're watching us. We're informative.
All of your news from, like, Facebook. And one of the things that I always like to tell my loved ones, like, don't just read the headlines. Read the body. Read what they wrote, and check your sources. You know,
right?
If they don't put an accredited source in there, like our show, then it may not necessarily be the truth. It could just be speculation.
Yes.
At its best.
Yes, we are rumor-based. Now, that doesn't mean we're not factual. But I was just watching one of our own shows that I put up this week and found things. I said, oops, we messed that up. But oh well, it sounded good.
We do that all the time. For the reason why we are not journalists. We are podcasters.
Exactly.
There is a difference, you know. We are entertainment-based. We are like the WWE of the news world. It's like, yeah, it's based in reality.
We do our best, but we don't check anything.
I have said on multiple occasions, I do not fact check anything. But I do my best to put stuff out. And like you said, there are times where I will even rewatch some of our stuff, and I meant to say, because as you know, a lot of times, you know, fourth wall breaking, a lot of times we don't have everything written out. We have a lot of our stuff written out, and we have a lot of good outlines of where we want to go, but sometimes we just riff off of something else somebody else said, and then we just keep going and going, and that can end up being a whole show right there. But then when you rewatch it, you're like, I meant to say this, I meant to say this, I said this in my head, but the words that came out was not what it was supposed to be. And everybody just went with it.
Yeah, when we go back and do remakes eventually of all of our best shows, then we can do exactly how they were supposed to be, right?
But then again, that's the gem of our shows is like, yeah, you meant to say that.
Well,
but,
it's our memory as it exists, man. If we're off on a fact, it's probably because we're misremembering something.
Yeah. But when it's a group misremember, that's just bad.
Well, we were all in the same place, so there's something about the airplane trails over Fairfield or something that gets you. Now, see that? Total fake news right there.
Well, I am Coolwater Kurt. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
I'm Frank G, and that was not news to me. So.
We'd like to hear what you think. Leave us a comment down below and let your opinion be heard.
And if you like this video, please check out other videos on our channel like 252 and Get Into Character.
And with that, sometimes you just got to go ahead and roll the hard 6. And this is 252 Pop Fiction, where you hear it first.
Hey, we'll see how it
goes.
Last time was off a little bit. Sometimes it's off a lot.
A little bit. That first one you did was really good. That was very less than enthusiastic.
See, but the one that sounded good on air when I put it together was way off. It's all your fault, Skype. It's all your fault.
Adonis, pull yourself together.